Start the clock.
Good afternoon. At the tone, time will be
Real time.
Hi and welcome to Supercoach Road to 50k. I'm your host Nick Ness and I'm a Supercoach addict. Absolutely love the thing. It's the start of the JTL. It's excitement time. Everyone's getting their teams ready. Everyone's still clinging on to that hope that 50k might be theirs. Our hopes are sure to be dashed in round one, but it's going to be fun to try. This series is about showing you my team, about why I'm picking certain players, why I'm staying off other players. And interacting with you guys in the comment section as we try to help each other. So basically, without further ado, let's have a look at my current setup going into the JTL. JLT, I should say. I keep getting that mixed up. That's my dyslexia kicking in. So let's look at the defense. All right, so a lot of people are going for a sort of mid-price defensive setup. I'm sort of leaning against it for the simple reason I think there's two no-brainers for me. Start with Rory Laird. I think basically that he is a player that everyone should have. He's just a no-brainer. You know he's going to get 100 every week. He basically plays on the ball and just follows it around. Reasonably priced for what he's going to produce. Set and forget. I've got Jake Lloyd, the Seagull, and his big price in at the moment. So the knock on him is his price is too high, that he had a big one-off year last year. The new rules are sort of going to affect his scoring. I'm happy to back him in. I just think that he can produce a 120 a week in that Sydney team in that back line still, even with the new rules. And I'm happy to have him in at this stage. Look at the next 2 weeks and sort of see how his scores might fluctuate with the new rules. But at the moment, I'm sort of happy to have him. Zach Williams, player that was hurt last year. Everyone was expecting him to have a really big year. He averaged 92 the year before, and last year was meant to be a breakout year for him. Really nicely priced. He's another one you watch over the next 2 weeks just to make sure of his role. But other than that, at 407 looks a really reasonable price for him. He's someone that could, if he averages at 92 plus, you're sort of happy. Dylan Robertson, injured last year, had those health problems. By all reports from St Kilda, he's had a really good pre-season. I think he was best in ground in a practice game. Watch him over the next couple of weeks. And at that price, you're sort of happy with an 80 plus average. And you really wouldn't be expecting too much more than that. But if you can get that, you're sort of set at that price. And you can upgrade him later on in the season. As far as the rookies, Duzma, got him on the bench there. Ignore that stuff. Basically, 130, Port Adelaide, going to get games, going to get ball. Hall from Melbourne, by reports, he's going to be a good rookie pickup. McKay from North Melbourne, placed at the moment. Big tall, I think they're short on tall, so he's going to get games. And Watson's just sort of a placement there at the moment. Got 40k in the bank, obviously, to play around with and upgrade my rookies. But yeah, that's the defense. So let's look at some of the other defenders that I haven't picked up that we possibly could down the track. James Sicily, good pick, hothead. Burnt me last year with getting suspended, but he did have a really great season and he'll probably kick off and have another great season. Just prefer Lloyd and Laird in front of him. Lockie Winfield's one that was really close. He's going to play in the midfield more with Shield not there. Just like the other two in front of him. Go down the list. Luke Ryan's one that I definitely think could have a great year. Could average 100 plus on the rise. Had a really good year last year. Takes a lot of the kick-outs. Really good kick. User of the ball. Fremantle like playing the ball through him. Harris Andrews is also one. Alex Witherton is one that I see in a lot of teams. Everyone's expecting him to have a breakout year, mid-priced, and take the chance. I personally rather stay away, watch. I don't think it's going to go up that much in price. You can always sort of get him in if one of your primos doesn't kick off without losing too much cash. So I'm happy to wait there. Last night, Carlton game. Everyone sort of jumping on the Newman bandwagon. It's just one game. I mean, he had some really good games in Sydney a couple of years ago when everyone picked him up cheap. I missed that boat, and he was averaging like 115 and killing me every week. But yeah, sort of, what's he priced at? There you go, just under 400,000. I'm happy to sit that one out. Sort of happy with my defenders at this time, but 2 weeks, I'm sure there's going to be a few chops and changes, but I'm really confident in Ed and Lloyd to sort of anchor my defense and produce nice score. All right, let's get into the midfielders. Basically, we have Paddy Cripps, who I think is a lock and should be in everyone's team. He's a bull. He is Carlton's midfield. He will be a top 3 midfielder, barring injury. Set and forget. Clayton Oliver, another gun, really. The only question mark is his shoulders coming into the season. He had surgery on him. I'm willing to forgive that. He came into last season with an injury cloud as well, and it didn't affect him. So I'm really willing to back him in, basically. I think he's a 110 plus keeper for the rest of the season. Nate Fife, highly priced. Comes in with injury concerns. He's always missing games for the last, 3 years. Ever since he won the Brownlow, he's had no luck with injury. But if he does stay healthy, the flip side is he's a 120 plus midfielder, guaranteed week in, week out. He will be the Freo midfield. And I'm willing to have him in for now. We'll watch for the next couple of weeks and see if maybe one of these other midfielders come in, maybe a McRae, something like that. But for now, Fife's got his spot in my team. Dusty Martin, I think, is complete value at the 560 mark. I think last year was a down year, played a lot of time up forward. He has a lot of potential to sort of get back to his Brownlow form this year with the point to prove, playing more midfield time with Lynch coming into their forward line. So, yeah, I think another no-brainer is Dustin Martin with plenty of upside. Andrew Brayshaw is my POD. If you don't know what a POD is, it's a point of difference. It's a player that not a lot of other teams have, and I think he's only in 3% of teams. And you're basically banking on him to sort of improve and become a keeper and have other people chasing you, trying to get him in their team. And I just love the way he goes about it. He wins the ball inside, outside. Melbourne love using him as a kick into 50, kicks goals. And yeah, I'm willing to back him in to have a really big year this year and continue on from last year. We get to the rookies. Sam Walsh played last night and he was super impressive. He's got such a big body for a rookie. The only knock is his price. In recent history, those sort of price rookies don't bode well. They don't score enough to sort of warrant that price, but I think he's the exception to the rule here. I'm happy to have him after last night. I think if you don't have him, you'll probably be getting him in the first couple of weeks, because I think he's going to produce off the bat. As far as these other rookies go, Gibbons played last night. He's going to play in the forward line. I don't think he's going to score that well, but at his price, I'm happy to sort of just sit him on the bench and sort of let him slowly accumulate money. Brawley from Freo. Raps on him. I think he's a mature age recruit, a big body. They're going to need him in that midfield. And as far as the other ones, they're sort of just placeholders at the moment. We'll fix that up next week, just based on how people are going in the preseason when we get a really good look at the rookies. Okay, when we look at the other midfield options, we're sort of blessed for choices. So many gun midfielders running around. Jack McRae being the most obvious. Big price. Burnt me the last 2 years not having him at certain times. He's someone... not having him potentially is going to hurt. So I'll watch him the next couple of weeks. Don't know how Libba's going to affect him. At his price, I'm sort of happy to back against him and just say, just hope he doesn't go off. That's sort of my situation at the moment. As I said before, possibly try to get him in, maybe Fife out, Oliver out, him in, but we'll just weigh up the next couple of weeks. Other options, Josh Kelly's another gun, complete gun. Injury questions on him the last couple of years, had a few problems. The only thing that's going to hold him back, because the tag's not going to stop him, kid's a jet. But you can't have them all, and I just prefer the guys I have slightly over Kelly and McRae at this point. Lockie Neal is one that I am willing to sort of back against. I've sort of never been a huge mark for Lockie Neal. All right, well, I'm not saying it's a bad choice. I'm just saying I think there's better choices out there. Trelaw might struggle to put up huge numbers in that Collingwood midfield. I mean, they're going to share a lot of those points. I mean, that midfield's pretty stacked. Gaff's out. Yo's a good POD. I mean, only a midfielder this year, not a defender. So he's not in that many teams. Class player. Can go missing, though. That's my concern for him. He does have games where I think he scored like 13 to 20 points a few times, and he burns you that way. But he does have some high scores on the other side of that. Gary Abler, I think his time's done as a primo. Joel Selwood, same boat. Pendlebury, same boat. So we're seeing a changing of the guard. Some of the old guns, coming to the end of their careers. You probably don't want them in your team. You sort of want the next crop of young guys coming in. Matt Crouch is one that's had injury problems. Reasonably priced. Not for me. I've never had him in my team, and I'm happy to have him out this year as well. That just about does it for the midfield at the moment. We'll just watch the next couple of weeks and sort of come back. All right, let's move to the rocks. And basically, there are two superstar rocks, and they are Gawn and Grundy. And I think you need to be starting with at least one of them. And for me, that is Gawn, purely based on the fact that he's done it 3 years in a row. He is the number one ruckman. He gets lots of tap-outs, lots of contested marks. He won't get as many possessions as Grundy. The only knock on him, I think, is Prius coming into the team, potentially taking points off him, but I'm not too concerned. I think Melbourne knows he's their best player and most important player, and he's going to get plenty of time and rack up plenty of points. And you need to start with one of them, because if one of them, they both go off, you're not getting them both into your team. It's not going to happen. So I think you need to start with one. Pick which one you prefer. For me, it's Gawn. On that second line, basically, I'm going for Cruiser. Injury concerns, but basically, if he can stay healthy, he is a potential upgrade target to Grundy by mid-season. Grundy's going to potentially lose maybe 100k, and Cruiser's probably going to make 150 if he stays healthy. Big if. But on the plus side, there's a lot of cover this year with young rookies that are going to get game time in the ruck. So for me, it's Fort from Geelong. So if Cruiser does miss a game here or there too, I've got backup. So I'm not that concerned. I'm only concerned with him, getting games early. That's it. If he gets hurt later in the season, that's fine. As long as he does his job, makes some cash, scores some points for us, I'm not too concerned. I think he's really good value at 430. I think he was the second highest scoring ruckman a couple of years ago. We know he's talented, so... All right, let's go to the forward line, which I think is by far the most hardest line at the moment. Forwards can be very inconsistent, and my forward line's a bit of a mess at the moment, but there are two locks. Dangerfield is a lock. Everyone should have Dangerfield in their team. You have no excuse not to start with Paddy Dangerfield. He is the best forward by far, and he will average 100 plus, set and forget for the rest of the season. Isaac Heaney is the other one. I love the way he plays. He's hard as a cat's head. He's Sydney's best player, and if they're going to do anything this year, Heaney's going to be scoring points for him. He can get off to slow starts, but he just racks up points really quick in games. In a blink of eye, he's put on 50 points. Love watching him play too. He's one of those great players. Now, the rest of my forward line, it's completely up in the air at the moment. So I've got Walters in. He burns a lot of people last year with injury, suspension. He does some stupid things sometimes, but you can't deny his quality, and you can't deny he's ball hungry. He loves the ball. He doesn't like playing in the forward line as much as the midfield, and you can see him sort of lax when Ross throws him in the forward line, especially late last year. I think he considers himself a midfielder. He's well priced. That's the thing. At 4.76, he's someone that can average 90 plus. Right now, 2 weeks to go, I'm happy to have him in. we'll see what happens. Whether he ends up playing there to start the season is a different story. The other controversial one's Toby Green. We all know he's a talented player. Horrible run of injuries last year. And when he did come back healthy, he put up some really bad scores for a lot of people that stuck with him. I think I started with him, traded him out, traded him back in, and just copped some terrible scores. I want to do I want to do it again is the question. And right now, at his price, I'm willing to risk it for the biscuit. I think 350, you're not going to lose much by giving it a crack, and you've got a lot to gain. So that's why he's in my team. There's potential there. There's a lot of potential there if he plays at his best. And if you can get a bit more midfield time with Shill leaving the team too, it's only going to help him. As far as the rookies go, Setterfield played last night. A mature age. I think he came from GWS. Looked good. 144, sort of mid-price for a rookie. I'm happy to have him in the team. I think a lot of people will have him in in teams. Isaac Ranke, highly regarded rookie, an excitement machine, people say. I've heard good things. I heard he's sort of tearing it up in practice matches. And I'm willing to give him the 2 weeks to see how well he's going to score. He's highly priced like Welsh is. So, yeah, he's just a placekeeper. He's there for his potential. We'll watch him the next couple of weeks and see how good he is. Drew's a mature age player, might get midfield time. And Walker's just a placeholder for now. So we'll see how we go there. And that's the forward line set up for now. Okay, when we look at the other forward options, Westhoff, good one. Dual position with Ruck could potentially help you out. Staying away from Franklin. Key forwards scare the hell out of me. I want midfielders in my forward line. Devon Smith, someone that surprised me last year with how consistent he was and burnt me as well. I think a lot of people started with him at a good price, and he really just paid off for the whole year. I think he played every game and had a 90 plus average. I'm willing to stay away from him and sort of back against him again this year. We'll see how that goes for us. Sexy Robbie was in the team, but I sort of had to make some changes. He might come back into it. He's a class player. If he plays midfield and you know he's going to play in the midfield, you want him. He's a no-brainer starter. But the fact that he plays so much time in the forward line, you know, his scores can be inconsistent and fluctuate. And we'll watch the next couple of weeks, see how much time he's getting in the middle. I think Wines might be injured, so they might need him in there. So he might be someone to come in for Walters, who's had to restructure some stuff as he's more priced more heavily than Walters is. But yeah, class player. Josh Dunkley, he's one that's in a lot of smart people's teams. Everyone's saying he's potentially going to have a big breakout year. I think he averaged 95 last year and sort of came home real strong, averaging over 100 for like the last half of the season. Libba comes into the team. I don't know how that's going to affect him. He's not that sexy to me, you know. I just, for me, I'll wait and see. If he burns me, he burns me. I'm sort of willing to back against him. Any other sort of players we can look at in the mid sort of price range? Sort of having a look. Okay. Petrarca was in a lot of teams last year. I haven't seen him in any teams this year. It's actually reasonably priced at 440. I mean, if he gets more midfield time, he could be one to watch, definitely. Billings. Oh, Billings. Burnt so many people last year. I think he had such a high price tag. He was over 500,000 and he had such a great first game. And it was just all downhill skiing after there for anyone that held on to him. I think I cut and burned early on and was very thankful for that. Jack Gresham, definitely talented player, but probably not going to get enough midfield time. Gun player. He's just going to keep improving. Once he starts getting more midfield time, it'll become a more viable option. Charlie Curnow, another one, played last night. Lots of potential there. Cheaply priced. Not cheaply priced. The mid-prices are sort of... Look, in past years, you sort of want to stay away from mid-prices, and it's sort of your high-end players and the low-end players. But with the forward line, he's potentially there. He's someone that can average 90 plus and be a leapfrog to someone else potentially later on. That sort of does it for the forward line. All right, that will do it for this week. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be bringing out weekly content. We'll be back next week after the first round of the preseason to sort of reassess everything. So hope everyone enjoys their weekend. Thanks.